Hi guys, my name is Lina and I'm starting a booktube channel. So I'm doing this booktube newbie tag because why not? It's a great introduction. Why did you start this channel? Honestly, to make myself read more and also to practice formulating and expressing my opinions of books. I got a lot of feelings and opinions, but once I start putting those things into words, it doesn't really come out the way I want to, and I want to get better at that. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to booktube? I don't really know. I think my format is somewhat different, but we'll see if it's any good. This is not entirely unique, but I'm not from the Anglosphere, so I think it's always nice to hear from different people. And while I do read a lot of American UK authors, I didn't used to do that. I used to usually read all sorts of authors and mostly translated to my first language, which is Croatian. It wasn't until I was a young adult that I kind of went straight to the source for English written books. What are you most excited for about this new channel? To be able to talk with other people about the books we're reading. I know this is such a basic answer, but while I do have readers in my life, our tastes are not that compatible, and sometimes you just want to discuss a very specific thing, you know? Why do you love reading? Empathy, escapism, entertainment. It's just fun. It's fun. Entertainment is honestly on top of that list, and if it wasn't fun, I wouldn't do it. What book or series got you into reading? Harry Potter. I mean, what else is there to say? What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Mostly production related, like how do you keep being consistent and how did you streamline your editing process, and do you keep any lists and what are they, and tell me all about your lists and the way you organize everything around this thing. Yeah, I'm very into organization. I like talking about it. I like talking about productivity, and I think most of the questions would be focused on that. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Consistency. Not gonna lie. The goal I've set for myself is to upload a video once every 2 weeks. This is not like a schedule or anything, but it's like the bare minimum I want to do. And I know I can do it, but the question was challenge, and I think this will be a challenge. When did you start reading? I wasn't much of a reader as a child. It wasn't something that was really thrust upon me. I learned to read basically in school, maybe a bit sooner than that, which I know sounds really sad compared to some booktubers who have been reading since they were like 4 or something. But it is what it is. And I did read in school, but only assigned things until I was maybe 10. And I just viewed it as homework, nothing special, until I read Heidi. Heidi is a children's novel by Johanna Spiri. It's basically about a girl who goes to live with her grandfather in the Swiss Alps. And it was the first time I could identify with the character. I, too, had a grandfather. I guess that's all you need. It made me see my grandfather in a different way. It made me see all the ways he was loving towards me that by that time have gone over my head. Heidi made me mature and identify with someone else and just gave me an understanding of why we read. And after that, the first books I've read that have not been required reading were Harry Potter books, and I read those around the age of 10. In high school, I read mostly required reading and then some on the side, but not as much, because in high school I had a lot of other extracurriculars and audiobooks were not really a thing back then. And when I got to college, I started reading again because I wanted to distract myself. Once I was done with uni, I started reading even more. However, 2018 was like a shitty reading year for me. I've read almost nothing. I've started a lot of things, but it was bad. So I decided that 2019, we're gonna do this. We're gonna read so many books. Good books. Yes. I wanna get back into it. I never wanna lose it again like I did in high school. I mean, reading slumps are fine. It's just I kinda lost that interest. I don't know. And I think it's basically because I have not kept it up. If I don't do something for a prolonged time, I forget about it. And that is not something I want to happen to me again with reading. Sentences. Where do you read? Everywhere? I am a big proponent of audiobooks. I read before bed, so in my bed, mostly at home, while the audiobooks I'll read on a walk or something. But my favorite is when we go olive picking and I have like a week of moderate labor to do in the field from like 7-8 a.m. to 4-5-6 p.m. depending. And to just find a great narrator and go through a series or a bunch of standalone books. It's like a readathon, but on steroids, because I'm removed from home and my normal life and routines. And it's just, it's the greatest. It's the greatest. I love those reading experiences. And lastly, what kind of books do you like to read? I used to have this notion that I don't like nonfiction, and I didn't even read nonfiction. The idea was just weird to me, and then I started reading it, and now I reach for nonfiction all the time. So I don't really like to exclude anything, because if it fits, it fits, you know? There are things I dislike more than I like. YA writing, a lot of times, just doesn't do it for me. Romance, not against it. I just rarely find things that are my bag. Historical fiction is one I'm always pleasantly surprised by. It's like my brain is always like, meh, but then I read it and I'm like, oh yeah, this was really good. I do like historical fiction. Want to know why? I like history and I like fiction. Why do I ever think I'm not gonna like it? I really like graphic novels. Poetry is hard for me, but sometimes it works. I like all of the crime, mystery, thriller, horror genre things. Sci-fi is something I really like. I don't mind reading stuff like middle grade or YA or even a picture book if it's cute, you know. I do mostly read adult, but am not opposed to any age group if it fits. One thing I don't really read and would like to read more of are plays. I haven't read any that weren't required reading, and I just want to see what it feels like to read some of my own accord. Yeah, so that was a little bit about me and my reading habits and stuff. And yeah. Woo, Booktube. And mostly translated to my first language, which English. Jesus. Harry Potter. I'm Harry Potter. Okay. Why did that sound like a question? Anglo. Do you call it an anglosphere? Is it a sphere? Anglosphere. Yeah, anglosphere. Oh, sorry, I had to Google that. Oh yeah, more basic answers. Basic, I know. All of these answers are still basic. Because my grandma always gave me whatever I wanted, and my grandfather had limits, so clearly he loved me less. Children are so stupid.